Today we're diving into a story that's frankly deeply disturbing. It's a true crime case, but it's set somewhere unexpected. Inside a place meant to build dreams, an American Youth Vocational Center.
That's right, Job Corps.
Exactly. A place designed as a launch pad, a second chance. But instead, for one young man seeking refuge, it became a place of absolute heartbreak and murder.
And just for context, Job Corps, it started back in 1964. It's a U.S. government program, vocational training for young people, usually 16 to 24.
Yeah.
And often it targets youth considered high risk, maybe lacking educational opportunities or coming from unstable backgrounds. The idea is to give them skills, a path forward.
It sounds good on paper, doesn't it?
Yeah.
A path to a job, maybe even scholarships, a better future. But the reality we're going to expose today, well, it's much darker. We're talking about deep-seated problems, bullying, violence, racial tension, extortion, things festering beneath the surface. And in this case, it culminated in a truly horrific murder. And to really grasp the horror of the specific case we're focusing on today, the murder of Jose Arreaza Guardado, you have to understand, this wasn't some random, isolated event within Job Corps.
No, unfortunately not. It points to a wider pattern, a potential systemic issue that's hard to ignore.
Looking back, there were warning signs, other incredibly violent incidents at different Job Corps facilities over the years.
It's vital context. I mean, when you look at the history, you see this pattern emerge. It really raises questions about oversight, about how you manage a population with such diverse needs and risk factors. Mixing vulnerable kids with those who might have serious behavioral issues or even gang ties.
Those examples are just chilling. Back in 1996, in Tennessee, a 19-year-old student, Colleen Slemmer, she was tortured and murdered by another student.
Yeah, I remember reading about that one. The details were extreme.
Unbelievably so. They carved a star into her chest. The killer, just 18, kept part of her skull. It sounds like fiction, but this happened in a federally funded program.
And it wasn't just student-on-student violence either. Fast forward to 2012 at the Job Corps Homestead Center, the very same place where Jose was killed. An advisor, Duane Alexander, was stabbed to death.
By one of his own students.
By one of his students. Then, just 3 years later, 2015, same year as Jose's murder, different center, St. Louis, Matthew Anderson was shot and killed by his roommate.
These weren't just arguments escalating. These were murders. Calculated.
Precisely.
And the case we're focusing on today, Jose's murder, it was so severe, so brutal, it actually led to the entire Homestead facility being shut down. A full federal investigation followed.
Major fallout.
Let's talk about Jose Arreaza Guardado. Who was he? Why was he even at Job Corps? He was the youngest of 5 kids in the Ayala family. His story starts long before America, actually, in El Salvador.
Right.
Born there in 1998, his family was living through intense gang violence, the fallout from civil war, a really dangerous environment.
Trying to escape that pervasive violence.
Exactly. So, like so many others, they sought safety. They moved to Miami, Florida in 2006, looking for stability, a life free from that constant threat. And Jose, by all accounts, he was a pretty shy kid, reserved, loved cars.
Wanted to be a mechanic.
Yeah, that was his dream. And his parents, they desperately wanted that for him. They saw America as the place, the safe place where he could achieve it.
So Job Corps seemed like the logical step.
It did. In 2014, Jose was 16. They enrolled him at the Homestead branch. They believed the promises, skills training, maybe scholarships, helped getting a job as a mechanic.
And from everything we've gathered, Jose was exactly the kind of student the program should have been helping. He was hardworking, dedicated.
Definitely. He wasn't just sitting back. He actually worked weekends selling ice cream to help his family financially while he was studying, doing everything right.
A kid really trying to make something of himself.
But then, in 2015, things took a dark turn. He was assigned a new roommate.
Ah, okay.
Kahim Abello, 20 years old. And pretty quickly, Kahim got a reputation. Staff knew him, other students knew him, unruly, a bit of a ringleader.
And allegedly dealing drugs within the center itself?
Yes. That was the rumor. And later it seemed more than a rumor. Now, Jose, when his family asked, he admitted Kahim was, troublesome. Said he sometimes demanded small amounts of money, like lunch money kind of thing.
But he downplayed it.
He did. He told him he wasn't being seriously bullied, that he could handle it. Maybe he was scared, maybe embarrassed. Didn't want to worry his family after they'd sacrificed so much. He never really let on how bad it was getting.
Hiding the true extent of the danger.
Which leads us to the disappearance. It happened fast. Sunday evening, June 28th, 2015. Jose asked for permission to leave the center, just quickly, to buy some snacks nearby.
Standard procedure, signing out.
Right. He had a mandatory return time, 6:00 p.m. But 6:00 p.m. came and went. Jose never returned.
And the staff realized he was missing.
They called his parents, who, understandably, panicked immediately. They reported him missing to the police right away.
But then, the waiting period issue.
Exactly. Another systemic breakdown, really. The police, they cited the standard 72-hour waiting period for missing persons cases, refused to take immediate action despite the family's pleas, despite the context of where he went missing.
Leaving the family completely frantic and feeling helpless.
Absolutely. So they had to search themselves. Jose's older brother, Frady, he spearheaded it, searching frantically, checking places Jose might go.
But knowing Jose was last seen at the center,
Frady realized the search needed to focus right there. The Homestead facility, it's kind of isolated, surrounded by dense Florida woods, undeveloped land.
difficult area to search.
Very. Frady kept going. On Wednesday, July 1st, so just over 48 hours after Jose vanished, Frady was combing through those woods near the center.
Still hoping against hope at that point, presumably.
Must have been. Then he noticed something, a patch of ground. It looked wrong. Scorched earth. And the soil was loose, like it had been recently dug up and poorly covered over.
Oh, no.
His heart must have sunk. He started digging right there around that disturbed soil, and almost immediately he found a sock.
He recognized it.
Instantly. It was Jose's. He kept digging frantically now. And then he uncovered a small foot sticking out of the shallow grave. It confirmed their absolute worst nightmare. Jose's body was there, badly injured, and there were signs he'd been burned. Frady found his little brother.
Unimaginable, finding him like that. The case instantly shifts, of course. Missing person to homicide.
Immediately, forensic teams swarmed the scene.
And the evidence they found, it started telling a story. Abandoned clothing nearby, believed to belong to at least one of the attackers, a lighter, and significantly multiple pairs of gloves.
Gloves.
Right, suggesting this wasn't spontaneous. It suggested planning and more than one person involved in the dirty work. They also analyzed some cut wood nearby. That led them to determine the primary weapon.
Which was?
A large machete.
Oh, Jesus.
Okay.
The autopsy results, they were just brutal. Cause of death was repeated violent chopping or slashing.
Yeah.
To his face.
Consistent with a machete attack.
Crushed his facial bones completely.
Yeah.
And then, adding another layer of horror, they confirmed the body had been set on fire after he was dead in the grave.
A clear attempt to destroy evidence, cover their tracks.
Police suspicion immediately fell on people Jose knew inside the center, the location, the nature of the attack.
And that led them pretty quickly to the roommate, Kahima Bello. The clothing found at the scene reportedly matched items linked to him. Plus, when they brought him in, his hands had fresh injuries.
Consistent with
wielding a heavy blade like a machete during a violent struggle.
So they confess. But the motive they gave, it just didn't sit right.
What did they claim?
They claimed Jose owed them money for drugs.
Which directly contradicts everything known about Jose, right? His family, the staff describing him as clean, hardworking.
Exactly. It feels convenient. A known drug dealer claiming the quiet, hardworking kid owed him drug money. It sounds like an attempt to shift blame, maybe demonize the victim.
A very likely possibility, trying to create a narrative that lessens their own culpability for such extreme violence.
And the details of the confession reveal just how calculated it was. This wasn't a fight that got out of hand. They planned it for 2 weeks. Including digging that grave in advance, waiting.
Chilling premeditation.
During the attack itself, they said they pushed Jose into the hole they dug. He tried to climb out, desperately fighting for his life. And that's when Kahim struck him, repeatedly, in the face, with the machete, until he stopped moving.
Just absolute brutality.
But there's one more detail. Something revealed in the confession that speaks volumes about the mindset here. It's almost unbelievable in its depravity.
What was?
After they killed Jose, after they burned his body in that shallow grave, Kahim and his girlfriend, Desiree, who was also involved.
Yes.
They had sex. Right there, near the burial site.
My God. That's monstrous. Utter lack of remorse doesn't even begin to cover it.
So the investigation ultimately identified 5 suspects in total.
Right. Kahima Bello, the primary killer wielding the machete. Then Jonathan Lucas, Christian Colon, Desiree Kahim's girlfriend, and a 5th person, Joseph Cabal.
Cabal helped plan it, but wasn't actually there for the murder itself.
Correct. He was involved in the planning stages, digging the grave apparently, but wasn't present during the actual killing.
Yeah, Desiree. Her behavior during interrogation was reportedly extreme.
Extremely volatile, yes. Reports indicate she violently resisted officers, was screaming, assaulted staff members, even tried to break equipment in the interrogation room.
Indicating maybe extreme guilt? Panic?
Possibly. There is also an alleged statement, though unconfirmed in some reports, that she yelled something like, "Why didn't you let me chop him first?" during the attack. Just horrific if true.
The fallout for the Job Corps Center itself was huge.
Oh, absolutely. The U.S. Department of Labor stepped in immediately. They suspended all operations at the Homestead Center, moved the remaining students out.
And launched that full review.
Exactly. An extensive review, which, unsurprisingly, confirmed what many already suspected. Those systemic issues, the bullying, the extortion, the simmering violence, they were widespread and hadn't been adequately addressed for a long time.
The family's pain through all this, it's just unimaginable. Jose's mother said something so tragic.
What was that?
She said she brought her son here from El Salvador, a place ravaged by war and violence, specifically to escape murder. Only for him to be murdered here in the U.S. in a place that promised safety.
Heartbreaking doesn't cover it.
And his brother, Frady, the one who found him, he demanded life in prison for the killers. So they were too dangerous to ever be let out.
Understandable reaction. The legal process, though, has been incredibly slow and complex. Painful for the family having to wait for justice.
Have there been convictions?
Some, yes, but it's complicated by plea deals and other factors. Information flow was also restricted during parts of the case. But here's what we know about the sentences so far. Jonathan Lucas pleaded guilty to conspiracy back in 2020.
What did he get?
5 years in prison, followed by 15 years of probation. He's expected to be released relatively soon, around 2025.
5 years for conspiracy to commit that. Wow. What about Cabal, the planner?
Joseph Cabal apparently refused a plea deal. He was sentenced to the same. 5 years in prison, 15 years probation.
And Desiree, Kahim's girlfriend.
Desiree was sentenced more recently in 2022. She got 15 years in prison, followed by 10 years probation. That was for conspiracy, but also for assaulting the officers during her arrest.
So 3 sentences. What about the other 2, the main ones?
That's where it's still agonizingly unresolved for the family. Christian Colan's case has faced significant delays, reportedly due to mental health evaluations and competency issues.
And Kahima Bello, the one who wielded the machete.
Kahima Bello is facing the most serious charge, first-degree murder. The prosecution was seeking the death penalty. His trial has also faced delays, and the final outcome is still pending as far as the latest public records show.
So Jose Arriaza Guardado came to America looking for safety, looking to learn a trade, build a life. His dream was simple: become a mechanic, help his family.
A dream shared by many who enter the Job Corps program.
And that dream, that life, was brutally, cruelly extinguished by his peers in a system, a government-funded program that was fundamentally supposed to protect him. This case just ripped the cover off the deep, dark reality hiding beneath the promises of Job Corps.
It exposed significant failings.
And maybe here's the final thought, something really unsettling to chew on. The failure here wasn't just about security guards or cameras, though maybe that played a part.
What's the deeper irony?
It's the tragic irony, isn't it? That a program designed specifically to uplift, to reform high-risk youth, somehow became a breeding ground for this kind of calculated, horrific violence. And it was aimed squarely at one of the most vulnerable, the most hopeful kids within its walls. The system didn't just fail to protect him. In a way, it created the environment where this could happen.
A deeply disturbing outcome for a program with such optimistic goals.
Thank you for joining us for this difficult story today. It's important these cases aren't forgotten. If you appreciate this kind of in-depth look at true crime, please do support the channel. Hit that like button, share this story so others can hear it, and make sure you subscribe to us here at Horror Doc. Stay safe out there. We'll catch you on the next deep dive.